the late game, 6:30 Pacific, game 2. T-Wolves and the Rockets. Rockets won game 1, didn't cover, 104-101. They've been horrible laying double-digit chalk. More on that in a second. They're 10.5 and 214.5 the total at Intertop Sportsbook, 22 years online. Sign up, deposit, and win. They don't win this game last year, Teddy. Harden was great, 44 points. Capella played well, who's number 1 in the league in field goal percentage. But, I mean, look, this is ugly. 10 of 37 from 3. Tucker and Ariza combined 2 of 11. Chris Paul, who people are ripping him because of his playoff failures, he's never been to a conference final. He comes out in game 1, 5 of 14 with 6 turnovers. Gordon was 3 of 10, but they still won the game. Harden, yes, with 44 points, but because of the defense. Believe it or not, they finished 6th in the league in defensive efficiency. They hold Minnesota to 101 points. They don't play well. They don't shoot it well. They still get the win.
Yeah, and some of that's certainly Karl-Anthony Towns. When you talk about how did they actually win the game, or how did Minnesota not get the straight-up victory, Towns didn't play well. And Towns basically dominated by Capella in that game. I mean, how else are we going to call it, Pauly? You know, the bottom line is, if Towns brings his A game, Minnesota wins. Yep. And the fact that he got badly outplayed by the Rockets, third of their big 3, certainly an issue for Coach Tibbs moving forward. But here's a Houston team that got everything they could possibly get out of James Harden in that ballgame. And yet the supporting, you talked about Paul, you know, what of Ariza? 1 for 6 shooting. Tucker 1 for 5. Gordon 3 for 10. Green didn't hit a 3-pointer. Harden hit 7 of 12 from 3-point range. And the rest of the team was what? 3 of 25? Houston will shoot better than that from 3-point range tonight. We can count on it. The question is, can Minnesota counter, and can Minnesota find a way to steal it? And even a broader question, Paulie, I don't want to go too long on this, but the broader question here, game 1 priced 10.5, 11, 11.5. There wasn't 11 points worth of difference between these two teams when you watched them on the floor. Now, here we are, game 2. There's been a minor adjustment down to 10, 10.5. If you watch game 1, there wasn't that big of a difference between these two squads. But the season-long power ratings say Houston's got to be double-digit chalk here. So the question is, what we saw in game 1, is that real, Paulie? Are these two teams a little bit closer, perhaps, than the power rating might indicate?
Well, in the regular season, it was a horror show. The Rockets averaged 129 points per 100 possessions against the T-Wolves, and they couldn't guard them. But you don't have Mbah Moute and Anderson either as well. But Houston has been a horror show, laying more than 8.5, and they are on a 4-14 ATS run, laying double digits. So it's playoff time. The goal is to win the game. The Rockets just want to get out of there and win, whether it's by 7, 8, 9, whatever. They're not concerned about blowing them out either. So everything went wrong for the Rockets, and they still won. But you're right. That came down to the final possession, and maybe the T-Wolves got the win. Almost got the win. We'll get back to this one.
Let me jump in real quick, Paul.
Yep.
Because we talk about impact injuries. Luke Mbah Moute is an impact injury. Okay, he's not going to be – it's not a situation where the point spread is going to be affected. Not even a half point. You know, but without him and Anderson on the floor, all of a sudden – there's a weakness at the 4 spot. There's a weakness defensively compared to where they were. And there's a weakness on the board. Mbah Moute does so many little things that don't show up in the box score. He's an impact player. The market's not pricing him in that way. Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.